So there are many ways to make a millionaire a month. You can steal, you can do MMM, you can earn salary, you can do a business and earn returns from it. You could invest the money and yield. You could save up 1 million naira. Or you could do what Mitchelle did, Designerbabe, write a book and sell 1 million worth in less than a month. Guys, in this video, I want to speak with Designerbabe, and this time not about her career. I want to talk about Clueless to Designer, how she wrote a book, sold it, and made a millionaire from it, and even now dashed 3 people free laptops, all from one book of less than 50 pages. Me, I want to know the secret. If you guys want to learn the secret, then watch this video to the end. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am PC Timmy, a change maker, professional, and creative who is passionate about growing people and growing businesses. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and please always share my videos. It promises to always be impactful and insightful. How does it feel to be a first-time author? Be proud, brag. It's okay. Feel yourself on camera.
It feels like really amazing.
I never expected it.
But here we are, and I feel so proud and excited and happy and pleased.
Okay, so what I really want to learn from this video is like the behind the scenes. So first, why did you decide to write a book? Was it to make a millionaire?
To be honest, no. I decided to write the book out of need. You know, I have been doing Designerbabe. Designerbabe essentially, I teach people design in like very short, beautiful images, like core design topics. I teach to people and then they understand it with the way I present it. And I started doing Designerbabe to be able to help people who are just getting into design and people who are already on their design career find these things that they want to learn on somewhere that they already go to every day, which is social media, right? When I started Designerbabe, I started getting questions. Oh, how did you get into design? Oh, I want to get into design, but I'm doing something like social work. How do I move from social work into product design? How did you move from being a makeup artist to becoming a product designer? How did you move from marine biology into design? Did you study design in school? Like, these are the questions I was getting every other day. But to be honest, I didn't even think of writing a book at this time. I was still like, oh, I was just going to do a blog post or something like that to be able to answer all these questions. And then I think it was even Peace that asked me, and she was like,
"You think or you know?"
Okay, it was Peace who asked me.
She's giving my flowers on the internet.
Peace asked me one day, and she was like, how can she get into design? Right? Not because she wanted to get into design, but because Peace just like to ask different questions. And she was like, oh, how can I get into design? I was like, okay, maybe I should write a blog post about this because people are always asking me this same question, you know. But then I started thinking about the blog post, and I remembered my queen Beyonce, and I know Beyonce, like, she doesn't do anything mediocre, she doesn't do anything small, she makes things big. And I'm like, why would I do a blog post when I can actually write this whole thing in a book? And then I started to write the book. And so yeah, it wasn't like I had any preordained thoughts of writing the book. It just happened based on need and based on the timing.
How long did it take you to write the book?
This is an interesting question. I got the idea to write the book in August, second week in August-ish, and I released the book in December. So we're looking at August, September, October, November, December, 5 months. So the book took me 5 months.
Why that long?
Long? People write books in 3 years. Come on, please.
Okay, why that?
Why that timeline? Honestly, because writing a book is not my day job, right? I have a job that I have to do every day, you know. And when you start writing something, to be honest, I thought I was going to write that book in 3 weeks of August, and I was going to release the book in September. That was my initial plan. That was what I wrote, that by September, middle of September, this book will be out and I'll start like, you know, selling it. Not even selling it, I didn't even think of selling it then, and I'll just give it out to my community. But you know, when you start something, you don't have an idea of how big that thing is going to be. You just start that thing with your current idea and your current experience. But when you start taking the first step, you take the second step and you're like, oh, this other thing can actually happen alongside this, and then that idea starts to expand and become something really big. So my dream of, or my initial plan of writing the book in August and releasing it in September turned from that into October, and then I started to face some blockers, and then we got to December, so that's why it took that period of time, because I didn't have a full idea of how long it was going to take, and eventually.
So what were those blockers?
So the first challenge I had was my book cover. So when you are a designer, you think that you can do everything that has to do with design. However, that's not the truth, because there are different aspects of design and there are different skill sets, and you need to know what your strengths are, right? So I wanted to do my book cover, and I had an idea of what I wanted that book cover to be. So I reached out to an illustrator to help me with the book cover. However, the idea I had of the book cover, by the time I started to see it in reality, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, So I experienced this whole 1 month block of the book cover, because I had plans for my content as well. I was like, I was going to announce that I'm writing the book at this particular time, and when I announce I'm writing the book at this particular time, then I would be able to use that to get more time on creating content while I'm writing it, because my audience are already expecting something. So even if I have a month of no content, they know that Mitch is working on something. So when I now faced the blocker of the book cover, I wasn't able to get the book cover out. It was like my content stopped, and then we had NSAS, and Nigeria was trying to kill all of us, and that was also why the book took that long, by the way, because of everything that was happening last year, So that whole book cover thing just blocked me for like a month plus, and I couldn't even continue writing the book, because I'm like, I'm supposed to have done this particular thing. If I haven't done this, how will I continue with the book? And I actually thought I was going to write the book again. I was even happy that, thank God I haven't even told more than my friends that I'm writing this book. So if I don't release this book, nobody's going to ask me questions. Yeah. And that was why I had that blocker with the book, because I had the book cover not done. But eventually, I just went back to who I am, which is Mitch, and Mitch is, I approach things from a place of simplicity. I'm a strong believer of, let the simplest version of this particular thing that you want to do, let it go out, and you can always walk forward from there. So I went back to my roots, in quotes, and I was like, okay, I'm a simple person. What idea do you want to communicate with this book? Forget about the grand plan that you had for this book cover. What idea did you have? What idea do you have? And I'm like, there's cluelessness here. There's idea. There is finding your way. There's journey. And I started to put all of these words together and spent a whole weekend working on this thing. And I arrived at my book cover, And after I did that, I sent it to a couple of my friends, and I asked them to tell me what the book cover was communicating to them. And interestingly, they gave me the response that was in line with the words that I already put down at first. And I'm like, okay, this is it, because this communicates exactly what I wanted to communicate. And the people who are receiving it also feel, they're also getting this feedback from this cover. So this is the perfect cover for my book.
So we've talked about why you started the book, why you started writing the book. We've talked about how long it took you to write the books and the challenges that you faced, with the biggest of which was the book cover. I'm going to ask you down the line, right? So if I'm not a designer and I want to write my next book, and the person I give to do it does not do it well, how would I now use simplicity? But that's a different thing. So my question now is in the marketing, in the distribution, in putting it out there, launching. So one of the biggest issues that people face, maybe not the biggest, but something that people would always face when they're putting out a product is, first of all, how much do I charge? Do I want to give it for free? If I'm not giving for free, then what is the right price to price this thing, so that it's neither, it doesn't feel like it's too cheap and not worth something, or it's too expensive and the bulk of people that I'm producing this thing for can't afford it. So how did you settle on the price? How did you settle on the fact that you're going to sell it? Because you said something like you're not planning to sell. So how did you settle on the fact that you're going to sell it? How did you decide on the price? And then give us tips on, after deciding on the price, how did you end up making a millionaire? So 3 questions, but you can...
Hopefully I give you 3 answers or I give you more. So first, my initial plan was to give the book out for free, you know, because it was more of a community service, in quotes, as opposed a money-making venture, right? So, but as I was writing the book, after I had faced the book cover challenge, I had faced so many other blockers, and I had seen the amount of work and the amount of, you know, value that I had put into the book. I got like top designers that I also look up to be able to contribute into the book. I'm like, oh, this should go for a price. However, there's something people might not take as important, but it's very important. You need to understand your audience, right? And you need to gauge your audience. You can't be putting something out there and your audience have an earning power or that is different from what you're expecting them to purchase your product for. You can't be charging like 15,000 naira for people that you expect are trying to get into a career, right? Where are they going to get 15,000 naira to pay for your products, right? So I had a very good understanding of my community, okay. Yes, my audience. I was very, very sure of the kind of where the range was, you know. So that was a very, very key determinant in the price of my products. That's one. The next thing is you also need to have given value, right? You need to have given consistent value so that by the time you wake up and you say, you know what, I want to put something that I'm going to charge for, people are not questioning what you're putting out because they have seen you give consistent value for free. So now when you say, oh, I'm charging you X amount of naira for this particular thing, they're like, oh, Mitch has been giving us so much content for free. I know that Mitch is going to give me value, but this is now the price for this valuable thing that she's giving to me. They're not questioning whether what you're giving them is valuable. The question now is, how do I have money to buy this valuable thing that Mitchelle is giving to me? That's the second thing. The third thing, which is also in line with what I said just now, is that when you give people, when you've already given consistent value, people are not questioning whether you're giving them value. So at that point, you've already passed one stage of how do I prove to people that I'm giving them something that they want or they need, because they already know that you usually give them things that they need for free. Now, selling it is just because I had a community. I have a community of people that need what I'm giving them. And the thing I was giving to them was also based off of what they had asked me. I wasn't uprooting another, I didn't go far-fetched from my community to find out a problem to solve for them. I had at least 200 questions in my DMs concerning what I had written in the book. So I knew that people needed my answers, right? So when it was time to distribute it or for people to sell it and for people to buy it, I knew that people were going to buy it. I didn't know the amount of people that were going to buy it, but I knew that people were going to buy it. So the first thing I did was to do a pre-order kind of thing, to just gauge what the reception was going to be like, right? So I told them that, oh, it was on my birthday, but I'm writing a book, and if you want to get this book, you know, in fact, at this time, I had not even thought about selling itself at the point of my birthday. It wasn't a thing for free, but I wanted to just know who were the people expecting the book. So also ginger myself to finish it, to be honest. So I said, if you want the book, go to this website and just drop your email so that you know when the book is going to come out. And at that point, I already had almost 1,000 people tell me that they wanted the book. But no, that is now different from people saying that, oh, I want the book. It's just so different from saying I want the book and I'm going to buy the book. It's just, oh, I want this thing, right? So when the book actually came out, I had to get a couple of people that are influential, not like influencers, but are influential in their community, right, to talk about the book. And I didn't have to do so much in convincing them because they also trust me, right? So I just told them, oh, I've done this thing, and please can you help me talk about it to your community, because it's not just for designers, it's also for people that are in finance and people that are in marketing or people that are in videography, so that they can also know that, oh, you can actually get into design, right? So I spoke to those people, different people, just please help me talk about my book, and they did, you know. And that now helped distribute the book out to different aspects of the different communities. Now, the best part is that the book is also very valuable. So even if I had stopped at telling people to talk about the book, they could have talked about the book and it would have ended there. But people by themselves finished reading the book and were just tweeting endlessly. Oh, Michelle's book is this. Michelle's book answered my questions. And when people see their friend talk about something and say this thing is valuable, they'll also go and buy it, right? So it was a thing of value. The book is very valuable, and reach, right? People saw the book as valuable and they talked about it and it reached more people and people just went to, like, you know, keep purchasing and are still purchasing the book.
Simple. I like you just drop it there that I reached 1 million naira, but I've exceeded it.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And I think that she has answered the question of how do I make $1 million or more from writing a book or creating a product for my community. It's, first of all, start by giving value. If she came out of nowhere and just said, hey, I have a Clueless To Designer book, maybe people would have not listened to her as much, but she already had her own community. She has already been doing Designerbabe, sharing content for almost more than a year, right? So people already knew that this is a thought leader. If I needed something in design, I could easily go on Instagram, Designerbabe, and I would learn stuff. So there's already trust, there's already credibility. When you create something that is valuable, there's a huge tendency that it will create the perfect, because one person reads it or one person experiences the product or the service and they get a really good experience, they get value for their money, they get value for their time, they're much likely to, or they're very likely to talk about it to somebody else, and then that person experiences the same thing. Oh my God, this is really good. And then you talk about it. And before you know, for one person, you reach 10 people. Not because you did the marketing yourself, but because you created something that was valuable at the beginning, right? And then the third thing I should mention is don't be afraid to ask for help and reach out to people. You don't have to know celebrities or micro influencers or macro influencers. You can know someone who has 1,000 people on Instagram or Twitter, but they have a community that they are in that values their opinion. Talk to the person, hey, I created something like this. Can you help me talk about it? And let the person talk about it. It's not about reaching one person that can reach 1 million people. It's about reaching 10 people that collectively can reach 2 million people, right? So ask for help. Use your friends that are in different fields. And you don't have to, just like you said, it's a design book, but it's not just for designers, it's for other people. So some people, I read the book not because I want to be a product designer, but because I was curious, right? So there are other people who would also, for curiosity's sake, also for inspiration's sake, they just want to see what an ebook should look and feel like, and they will buy. So the more communities that you reach out to, the wider your audience, the wider your reach, and the more money that you can potentially make. So create value before you start. Make sure that what you're selling is valuable, and then ask for help. And you might just be the next person to make 10 million, a billion, $1 from their product, which could be a book or something else. Michelle wants to say one last thing to you, so let's listen.
About pricing, you have to also, ask yourself what you're optimizing for. Are you optimizing for reach and distribution, or are you optimizing for money, right? I optimized for reach. That's why my book is priced at 3,000 naira. A lot of people have reached out to me saying that book could have been 5K, but again, I knew my audience, right? And if they can easily bring out 3K, more people can easily bring out 3K, as opposed to selling the book for like 10,000 and having only 15 people buy it, right? So 3,000 people were able to buy it, and that's why it got to like $1 million plus.
And that's a very, very, very important thing to say about pricing. Yeah, because these are the only two ways to price. You either do quantity and say, hey, you know what, I want to sell this as 500 naira but reach 10 million people, or I want to sell this as 5,000 and reach only 5,000 people. In both ways, you will make good money, right? But for one, you'll be looking at reaching like a mass market, as many people as possible. And when you're doing stuff like that, you know what your goals are, right? You want more people to see your book, or you want more people to see your product, you want more people to know about you. That visibility is important. Or you can say, you know what, I really don't care about visibility, or if it's 1,000 people that I impact. I just want 3 people that can pay me a huge sum of money and let me just chill. But yeah, you can decide. Thank you, Mitch, for this amazing stuff. I think me want to write another book. Price it out like, what's the secret? 3K is the secret. And see how much more money we can make. But hey, if you have any questions about design, product design, what Designerbabe does, how to write a winning ebook, this is the best place to ask your question. So comments down below. Follow Designerbabe on Instagram, on Twitter at Mitchelle C. And you know who I am now. Peace to me for life. Peace out, guys.